going to go ahead and get started. So, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining me tonight for this discussion. So, I wanted to take the time to kind of discuss mindfulness and finding stillness. That is the topic for tonight. So, my intentions for today's discussion is to discuss and explore ways of finding stillness, not as an escape, but as a homecoming to ourselves. Finding stillness is very important. We live a life where we're constantly on the go, and we're required and demanded to do so many things, wear so many hats, and be so many places within a 8-hour time frame. And then once we are done with that 8-hour time frame, then we have to continue those things as a parent, a spouse, a sister, a brother, a child, those type of things. We have other responsibilities outside of our 8-hour shifts at work sometimes. So I want us to kind of like explore ways that we can just kind of reconnect with ourselves and our mind, and just finding that stillness to be mindful. So one of the first things that I would love for us to do today is kind of talk about one of the ways that we can find stillness, and that is through breathwork, box breathing. So the first thing that I want to do is kind of walk through what that looks like and then explore that with everyone. So if you are watching, or if you plan on watching this later, let's take about 2 or 3 minutes to do a mini practice of box breathing. So this is one of the breath works that you can do at any time of the day, or before you go to sleep when you first wake up. It's a good way to reconnect with your breath and with your mind, and just find that moment of stillness. So with box breathing, is also called 4x4. So what you're doing is you're inhaling for 4 seconds. Just imagine yourself drawing a box as you are doing this. So you inhale for 4 seconds, visualizing one edge of the box, hold for 4 seconds, and beginning to shape that box steadily. Hold, exhale for 4 seconds, and then hold for 4 seconds. So again, you're going to inhale through your mouth, inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale through your mouth for 4 seconds, and hold for 4 seconds. So we can try that together right now. So if you can, find a comfortable position, whether it's sitting down, standing up. You can close your eyes or gaze forward. Take a deep breath in and slowly exhale. Inhale through your nose. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale through your mouth. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Now just bring your breath back to its regular breathing rhythm. And when you are ready, you can slowly open your eyes. So if you did try that breathing practice, how did it make you feel? And as you was doing the breathing practice, what type of shape did your breath draw? Did you feel like it was an even square, or did it look like another shape? And as you are doing these breathing practice, there's no right or wrong answer. The main objective is to let your breath draw its own corners with no rush, no force, just present. So I hope that you can find a way to incorporate that breathing practice into your daily activities or just on a daily basis for the month of August. Just try that for each day or every other day, or whenever you're feeling like you just need a moment, try that box breathing. So the next topic I want to kind of talk about was stillness. And stillness isn't silent. I know that we have this conception that in order to be still, you have to be silent or you have to be in one place, but that's not true. So what helps you feel grounded even when life is loud? I know for me, the one thing that helps me feel grounded is being outside. I feel like if I'm having a stressful day at work, which I did yesterday, it was very, very stressful. And it wasn't a physical stress, it was a mental stress. I just felt like the day was getting away from me. And I felt like I just needed to reconnect. So just think of whenever you're like needing that stillness, it doesn't have to be a physical stillness. It's more of a mental stillness that most of the time that we need. So when we're talking about stillness today, we're talking about in a mental state, not in a physical state of finding stillness. So one of the things, like I say, that helps me feel grounded is going outside, taking a walk. I feel like it gives me a time to kind of like find that evenness of what I need so that I can go back into the day and feel like more together. So if you can put in the chat, whenever you're feeling like you need to be grounded, what do you do? Do you listen to music? Do you read a book? Do you kind of just go into a corner by yourself just to kind of like give yourself that time to reconnect with yourself? Okay. And then the other thing is disconnecting. How do you know when you're left the present behind? Signs of disconnect is strolling endlessly without awareness of time, feeling mentally fuzzy and emotionally flat, reacting on autopilot, saying or doing things without intention, and then holding tension in your jaws and shoulders and hands without even noticing it. I notice like a lot of times I do that, as well as if I'm like super stressed out, I ball my hands up into a tight fist. I start grinding my teeth, and it follows me throughout the night too, because I feel like if I had a very stressful day, I grind my teeth at night, or I hold my jaws like together so tight that in the morning it's like excruciating pain, and it's like, why am I feeling like this? That's a sign of disconnect. That's a sign of that your body is telling you to become more present, like find that stillness. Our body gives us signs of when we need to change our mindset. It forms into some type of illness, and it lets you know like you need to slow down, you need to take a breath, you need to reconnect with yourself. Your body starts showing signs of that. So if you ever feeling like I'm coming down with something, and it's kind of your body telling you that you need to slow down, you need to reconnect with yourself. So that's why it's so important to listen to your body. Listen to any type of illness that you have, like out of nowhere. That's a sign that your body is telling your mind to kind of slow down, and listen to your body always. So ways to come back from being disconnected. So how do you come back from being disconnected? Coming back from disconnection isn't about fixing it. It's about remembering what you need to do, not fixing an issue. So I just wanted to kind of give some ways that you can reconnect. The first thing is starting with your breath. Like I say, doing the box breathing that we just did earlier in the day, at the beginning of this session, that's one way to reconnect with your body. Another type of breathing is wave breathing. I have examples of that on my page as well. It's a way to reconnect as well. It mimics the natural rhythm of nature and gives the body something to follow when the mind feels scattered. The same thing with box breathing, just imagining that you are drawing that box with your mind. It gives your mind something else to do so that you can just concentrate on one thing, which is what meditation also helps with. It's not to take away from, but it's to give your mind something else to think about or to focus on. Creating tiny rituals, that's another way to reconnect with your body, such as lighting a candle, something as small as lighting a candle, or making your favorite drink, whether it's alcoholic, coffee, tea, something that you like, and watching it, enjoying yourself making it. That's another way to reconnect. And then touching something. It can be your favorite blanket. It can be a shirt, something that brings you comfort and kind of get your mind back focused on you. Not what you're doing, but the main goal is to focus on you. So those are two ways. Another way is moving gently, not rushing, not going for a run. Well, going for a run, that helps some people to kind of like reconnect with themselves, but moving gentle. Like I say, we spend most of our days in a rush. So to just give your body that time to reconnect with itself and reconnect with your mind, bringing those two together is so important. So not every movement needs to be purposeful. Sometimes it can be just swaying or stretching without intention. So that's another way to reconnect. And then writing down what you're noticing. If you are into journaling, if taking that time to journal how you're feeling can be very beneficial too. That kind of gives your mind, like you're putting down on paper how you're feeling. You're expressing yourself. It doesn't have to be verbal all the time, but you know how you feel. And sometimes it's easier to kind of just jot those things down to get it out of your mind. So writing down how you're feeling, I feel like, I don't feel like, those are all beneficial things, because sometimes you don't feel like doing something. Sometimes you might not feel like talking to anyone. You might feel like, I just want to be by myself, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with you needing time and you writing down like, I need this time for myself, and you not having to tell anyone or explain to anyone why you need that time to yourself. And then lastly, compassion over urgency. So it's okay to take your time. It's okay to process the reconnection as a purpose, and it's seasonal and it's sacred. It's sacred to you. So take your time. You don't have to be in a rush to reconnect with yourself. So if you can, when did you last feel disconnected? And not from your phone or your calendar, but from yourself. And then what helped you reconnect or re-enter that feeling of connection? So if you can, think about that. If you want to, you can drop it in the comments. But that's the takeaway that I want you to have from this discussion, is remembering the last time that you did feel disconnected, and what did you do to reconnect with yourself. So now I want to talk about mindfulness. There are some myths with mindfulness, as we discussed. Is stillness always calm, or is it messy too? It's both. Mindfulness can be stillness as well as it can be messy. And when I say messy, I mean, have you ever tried to meditate? And no matter what you did, like you closed your eyes, you sat there, you breathed, you tried to stay focused, but every thought that you had came rushing in your mind. Everything that you had to do that day or you needed to do that day just came up and you couldn't get it out your mind. Like it was this constant thought of, I need to do this. I need to go here. I need to call this person back. It was like so many tasks that your mind tried to create for you when you tried to meditate. So that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Meditation or being mindful is not about dismissing those thoughts. It's about acknowledging those thoughts and then telling yourself, I'll get back to it. So if you are meditating or you are trying to be mindful about what you're doing and you start having those thoughts that has nothing to do with what you're trying to concentrate on, that's okay. The goal is to acknowledge those thoughts, because once you acknowledge them, then they know like, okay, I know I need to do it. But when you try to dismiss them, they're like a child. They're going to keep on coming back until you say, okay, I'm going to give it to you. So just acknowledge them. And then I always like to say, imagine them as clouds. Like they're coming, you see them, and then they're drifting away. And then you go back to focusing on your breathing, or you go back to focusing on what your intentions were when you decided to meditate or practice mindfulness. So that's the one myth, that it's not true that meditation is stillness. It can be both messy and calm. So stillness isn't about what you do, it's how you meet yourself in that moment. Basically everything that I just explained, that it's not about the physical action, it's about what you're doing in that moment. And in that moment, just like now, we're talking about mindfulness or we're talking about stillness, that's the main thing that we are focusing on right now. So it's not about what we're doing to practice that mindfulness or practice that stillness. It's how is it making us feel in that moment. Okay, the next thing, can stillness exist while you're moving? If you can, leave a comment or think about that. Can it exist when you're moving? So stillness can exist while you're moving. Again, it's not about what you're doing, it's about how you're feeling when you're doing that. When has rest like resistance other than peace? Or when has rest felt like resistance other than peace to you? So those are two things that a couple of things that I would like for you to ask yourself throughout this practice is, can you find stillness and mindfulness in an everyday, let that become your everyday practice? And if you can, what does that look like to you? What does stillness look like to you? What does mindfulness look like to you? Right. So the next conversation that I would like to have is going back to that mindfulness in motion, or ways that we can meditate in motion. So the next Q&A session that I have, we're going to talk about more about that in depth, is bringing awareness to what meditation in motion looks like and ways that you can meditate in motion. So I want to thank everyone that joined this Q&A session. If you do have any questions about anything that I discussed today, or want to learn more about how you can meditate, what best ways or best practices to meditate, please feel free to reach out to me. If you are interested in having a meditation session, I'm free for that as well. I just launched my new website, yogawithnikia.com. It has all my information on there as far as what I offer, my phone number and best ways to contact me. And then if you are looking to practice yoga or listen to some guided meditations, you can go to my YouTube channel, which is Yoga with Nikia as well. So thank you for joining me tonight, and I hope everyone have a great rest of your evening. Namaste.